for all of you out there. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging with us during that slight little bit of downtime. And I will switch the players up, get everything established, and do the introduction spawning in the upper left-hand corner of the map. In the Zotac EU Cup Finals, he's currently up 1-0 here from the team MYM. It is none other than Starbuck.
And his opponent in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, wearing the gold trunks, it is Empire's BratOK.
Alright, so Ord's not actually in the game, unfortunately, due to that rage quit from before. We'll try to do our best to bring you the action as it occurs live. I'm not sure how much of a delay you're seeing over there, but we currently are seeing BratOK go and building that supply depot at the front of his ramp. Typical to see these wall-offs from Terran players in the matchup, unless they're going for some type of like command center first play. But it is going to be a 12 racks. Question is that I have, will it be followed by a 12 refinery? No additional SCV is queued up just quite yet. Okay, it is going to be queued up just there. And I'm actually not getting any game sounds from StarCraft 2. Let me check that and make sure everything's going there.
Try the Control S twice.
Really super weird. Skype like messes with all of your game sound, or all of the sounds on your computer when you rejoin calls for some reason, but everything should be good. You guys should.
My apologies, everyone. I got locked up in StarCraft, so I quit and ended up quitting everything. And so when it comes to shoutcasting in this particular, I'm about 20 seconds behind. I'm there with the rest of you, so that part's up to Doom. But this beginning part, where it's really just kind of conjecture, I'm going to say that BratOK's going to go with Hellions, because that seems to be what we've seen in every TvZ so far.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty standard opener here in TvZ. The question is, will he mix in Widow Mines? We didn't see barely any of them in the last game, and I feel like if he was able to try to zone out some of those Ling Run buys with just a good placed, well-placed Widow Mine shot, he could have potentially gotten back in that game. Here we do see Starbuck going for Ling speed very early in this game, taking his workers off of gas. And BratOK's actually going to see this, though. He needs to go check out that spawning pool, see it shimmering. He needs to see it shimmering. He's not moving forward just quite yet, BratOK. Come on, man.
Just kind of hanging out, wandering
He'll
back and forth.
Okay, and if you didn't know, you can check out the spawning pool, see that little bit of shimmer to it to indicate that the research is going down there. And on the other side of the field here, BratOK, once again, is going to be forced to react to Starbuck. So this is one of the really interesting things that Starbuck has been showing us here in TvZ, is that if you're able to dictate the pace, if you're able to put your opponent on the back foot and make him respond to you, you can then do literally whatever your heart desires. And if you have a plan going from the stages of the early game into the mid game, and you're able to effectively do that by forcing your opponent to bend to your whim, well then, you're more often not going to be winning games like Starbuck is here. But, alright, first two Hellions are going to be on the way for BratOK. And he's adding on a command center inside the main base, not placing on the low ground. I do like that decision from him there, seeing that hatchery is placed down lower, knowing that, okay, some type of aggression is likely to be coming my way soon.
Yeah, so far there's only the 6 Zerglings coming from Starbuck. They are moving across the base. They're probably going to arrive at the ramp there and turn around, as there won't be a whole lot they can do. But that does let Starbuck know that he can set up his third base pretty safely.
As that Ling slides down the ramp. Okay.
So, that was awesome.
Yeah. So basically, BratOK here knows that Ling speed is done. He knows that Starbuck was intending to do something for early pressure to him, but he doesn't know what the follow-up is from there. He hasn't necessarily gotten a scout off beyond what that SCV saw, but there is going to be a Roachhorn on the way. So a lot of potential here for Starbuck to just like say, as soon as you place that command center down on the low ground, I'm going to hit you with an onslaught of aggression. But Starbuck is being a little bit careful here, adding on his own spine crawler and being conscious of the fact that Hellions can potentially roast tons of drones in this engagement. He needs to be very careful with his micro here, but the main ramp is not protected or but BratOK is going to pull back.
Oh.
Huh.
Wants to keep his Hellions alive. I really thought he would end up going in there. Definitely would have gotten several kills. Maybe not completely as cost effectively as he may have wanted. There's a medevac coming out though, so perhaps he's planning to do some drop play with that.
Drop play with Hellbats looks like it's going to be the follow-up here. He has established that armory and has not just yet. Okay, there it is. The +1 vehicle weapons has started. Command center is about to be placed on the low ground for him. Going to be transferring SCVs likely in just a moment here. And yeah, one medevac is currently on the field. Second one should be started just shortly here. He does have that 100 gas available to him to produce it if he so desires. But a little bit preoccupied here with the middle of base. The roaches have been revealed, and he has to move his Hellions back ever so slightly to not get shot in the face with that acid spew.
But he's more than happy to keep bringing the roaches forward towards him a little more and a little more, because that leaves that much more open for the Hellbats to kill.
Yeah, and really and BratOK's going to be confined to one base yet again, because, I mean, although he's got this Hellbat drop moving into the main base, the Lings are here prepared to try to get surround down on just these two Hellions. And although all the Hellbats can be really effective against Lings, if they get surrounded and their mobility is limited, well, they aren't as effective as they are, but they are in a good, decent position here. One is going to be focus fire down immediately. Decent cone, doing a lot of spray damage, but once again, the medevac is going to try to be focused down by this queen. Another Hellbat. Hellions are moving into the natural here, going to roast a couple of drones. Looking at the overall units killed here, only 2 workers killed from Starbuck. Well, actually, only 6 workers killed in total from BratOK in this situation. And the Hellbat, once again, the medevac has been dropped, and it will be cleaned up. And again, roaches here, keeping BratOK on one base. I say again and again, man.
And
Starbuck
again,
dictating the pace of this game. This has been the most impressive facet of his play from the Zerg perspective.
Hellbats should be able to come down that ramp, though, and push those roaches away so that BratOK can at least take that third.
No kills on those roaches, though, so getting out there with their lives spared. Small victory there for Starbuck. And he's going up for his lair. Has not added on his 3rd and 4th gases, still only on 2 in total. And looking at his income here, both players are somewhat even, though BratOK is in a slight worker deficit here in terms of SCVs. 15 down. Currently to Starbuck, who's about to populate his 3rd base with a bunch of drones. But it's unprotected, and this medevac's moving its way over to the western side of the map.
And Doom, what are our upgrades looking at?
Looking at the upgrades here, the +1 vehicle weapons should have just finished up. If I do, well, I can't confirm that by clicking on them, but clicking on this one, how about, yes, the +1 weapons upgrades has finished. +2 now being immediately started here for BratOK as well. The roaches don't have any type of upgrades yet. In fact, I don't see any evolution chambers on the field for Starbuck just quite yet. But multiple medevacs with Hellbats in them could really swing the pace of his game into BratOK's favor if he can get some damage done here. But Starbuck is already prepared to react here, pulling the drones. And the queen will be assaulted by his Hellions. It really needs to run out of here, but there are roaches moving in. And if he can get this medevac focused down, he could get a small victory for himself. And meanwhile, at the 3rd base here, roaches are going to be focused down the Hellbats. Drones are very, very low, but not going to get any kills there. And once again, only 6 workers killed in this game for BratOK so far.
And the secondary drop there, though, is that looks like it's going to be able to clean up a few at least.
No, it doesn't get anything.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Starbuck is prepared from pretty much every angle, and once again, guys, he's playing on a 4-3 monitor with a 10-year-old keyboard, so this is some insanely impressive stuff we're seeing out of him. Is going to drop a changeling down, get a scout out with his overseer to see what he can see in the natural. And BratOK may get out of here with this medevac. The boost does allow him to evacuate.
Oof. Close call for that medevac. Duct tape and hope, holding a couple medevacs together on the field right now. Really, BratOK needs to take this 3rd base. Lucky for him, he's managed to supply block Starbuck for a little bit, but Starbuck's going to be on 4 bases any moment now. And BratOK, does he even have enough to compete against this roach army?
He may, if he gets the siege tank sieged up and blocks down these rocks, basically if you're able to position the tanks back. Oh, whoa! Imagine if his roaches got caught into that choke point and the rocks fell, and that could have been completely devastating there for Starbuck, but he should be in a decent position here. He is going to move up into the ramp and get shelled by a couple of tanks, but this very weak wall here with the supply depot's not done quite yet. Starbuck actually maybe overextending slightly, but is going to try to reduce the tank numbers as much as he possibly can. Going to be getting 3 total here. And he is going to get a scout off to see the fact that this is a full-on mech, so he'll be able to respond appropriately, and is going to be immediate placement down of that spire, getting this +1 carapace and +1 range missile attacks as well. Hellbats will eventually clean up these roaches to the main base, but again, as you said, or that 4th base is now populated with drones, taking his what appear to be 7th and 8 gases. Yikes. He's going to be going into uber macro mode once again, and a drop did looks like it went off in the main. Actually, 4 drones have fallen looking at these Hellbats. They have only gotten 1 kill, though. Once again, forced out. We'll now scout out the Spire, though, so he should be able to respond appropriately in that regard. But once again, Starbuck so on top of pulling these drones at the appropriate times in this game.
He's done a fantastic job of keeping them alive. I mean, BratOK's got to be assuming that he's killed. Like, the number of games that he's played and he's used Hellbats like this, he's probably, used to killing a dozen every time. But so far, that's not what's happening. And the medevac finally did get cleaned up.
Yep. Hellbat will get a couple of kills in total there. 13 workers have been killed for BratOK in this game. How prepared will he be for this Spire transition, though? There is an engineering bay down, but no turrets in the main base. Now producing 3 Thors at a time is BratOK, and I'm shocked he's not adding on Widow Mines, actually just opting to go for Hellbat tank composition, mixing in some Thors, just starting his +3 Terran vehicle upgrades, and man, this isn't looking like a terrible position for BratOK. He's got his 3 bases established. He has 1 base down to the Zerg player, but looking at the tech opportunities, I am kind of feeling this game for BratOK right now, considering that he's got good Thor production and really just pretty safe, able to lock himself down. And now Starbuck really feels like the one who's kind of on the back foot in this situation.
It does, but at the same time, BratOK's got that very slow composition. It's going to take him a long time to get across the map. Starbuck, this is kind of, I think, the 3rd game we've seen him with not a lot of creep spread. In other games, he's been fantastic at it. In this one, so far, he's doing terribly in that regard. But once he gets all these hatcheries up, all that larva is going to be available to him, and he's going to be able to go in 8 directions at once with his composition.
He's also going for Swarm Host too, so he's going to have some free units on the field that are able to soak up some damage from these tanks, from these Hellbats, while other units are trying to move in. Couple big shots off from the Thor are going to take down 1 Mutalisks. And the scan forward sees that there's not really a big army here for Starbuck, though they're at pretty even supplies. Looking at the army count here, BratOK has a larger army than Starbuck, and Starbuck doesn't have
that many terrible time. 14 drones just popped there for Starbuck, and I'm pretty sure that puts him somewhere in the 90s range, and I don't know that he needed all of those.
He's got 100 drones right now.
Oh, that's what's killing him right now. He doesn't have as big of an army as he expects to have. Probably Swarm Host getting taken out there in this engagement. Oh, dude.
This is a really effective attack here from BratOK, but there are 16 more roaches in production. He's actually pulling the drones to try to assault these siege tanks, but that's never going to work out here. The Thors remain, the Hellbats remain, a couple of Marines are mixed in, and I think BratOK may have cracked the puzzle of Starbuck here, though there are a couple more Swarm Hosts in production. Roaches are filtering 1 by 1, though, and that's not what Starbuck needs to have happen in this game right now. More and more units are putting across the map here for... Oh! BratOK forces the GG. Okay. Wow.
Alrighty then.
It's not going to be a 3-0. Not going to be as I called before, but we do have a tied game. And I think maybe that Roach push there was just a little bit haphazard there for Starbuck, really thinking he was perhaps more ahead than he was in that game. And really being forced to make defensive things like spine crawlers, not really go for a big flock of Mutalisks. And good preparation from BratOK to have Thors on the field. It was just, overall, just Starbuck had an opportunity early to end the game, wasn't able to capitalize it, and as a result, Empire BratOK's really, really amazingly powerful force moved across the field and took down the 2nd game. So we are tied up and moving into a game 3, and hopefully we'll get Ord into the game this time.
I'm in.
All right. Fantastic.
Victory.
So I hope the game sounds are okay to you guys, too. If there's anything that needs to be adjusted, please feel free to let me know. 317 of you tuned in right now. Thank you so much for being here on BaseTradeTV.